Kia ora.
Hi, Hayden. How are you?
Good, thank you.
What time is it in New Zealand right now?
10:30 a.m.
Do you have any idea what time it is here in Los Angeles, America?
Or is it like 18 hours? So, I don't know, 4 p.m., something like that? I don't know.
It is 3:30 p.m.
I was pretty close.
Not bad. This week's episode is about the movie Home Alone. Do you know that movie?
Oh, yeah, I do know that movie. That reached New Zealand, that one. Yep.
What sort of memories are elicited when I say Home Alone?
Very fond childhood memories, that improbably large house that they can afford on a single income. The lady screaming, Kevin! Yeah, and just that very big house. And the fire and the skull. His skull, he gets electrocuted and you can see his skull. It's a great shot.
Because we don't really have houses that big in New Zealand. Like a typical family home isn't that big, right?
No, it's kind of a bit of a mansion, but I imagine it's just the average American lives in. 14 bathrooms, kind of wandering between them in opulence, not understanding that the rest of the world has, slightly lower standards.
The other thing I always found remarkable about Home Alone is that in New Zealand it kind of played around Christmas time, but in New Zealand at Christmas it's summertime, so everyone's like jumping in the ocean, whereas in America and Home Alone, Christmas is just a lot of snow and ice.
This is one of the biggest problems with living in New Zealand, is that all of your cultural touchstones for Christmas are about white Christmas. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. For New Zealanders, that's very concerning. It's it was sunny. There's Pahutakawa out. It's almost like, what do you mean a white Christmas? Is this a white nationalist anthem? We do understand that there's different places out here, but nothing is tailored to us.
Yeah.
And you guys just don't even think about it. You don't even think about it. You don't even think there's a different time zone. There's a different side of the world. There's a place where right now it's summer. They don't even think of us. They leave us off their maps. They're just like, what's that? No, the only world that exists is America, and everyone's having a white Christmas. Home Alone is a really great movie, and we loved it over here, and I want to thank everyone involved in making it, actually. And Home Alone 2, equally good, but it's pretty much the same plot.
I'm David Farrier, a New Zealander accidentally marooned in America, and I want to figure out what makes this country tick. Now, growing up very far away from America, I sometimes get to thinking about what my first taste of America would have been. I imagine it was a literal taste, probably me eating a McDonald's cheeseburger or a Subway sandwich. But thinking about it, my first taste of America was probably drinking a Coke for the first time, maybe Pepsi. But also, I feel my first proper memory of America, of really grasping for the first time what this country was maybe kind of about, was watching Home Alone for the very first time. I would have been about 7 when that movie came out, but I think I was 8 when I saw it. I remember because it was playing on TV on Christmas Eve, also just before my 8th birthday. And what struck me is that, holy shit, Christmas time in America is winter. Hero is baking in the height of New Zealand's summer, but at Kevin McAllister's house, it was snowing. That movie ended up being one of my favorite movies. It's something I can watch and be transported back to being a kid with. That house, the booby traps, Macaulay Culkin doing that face, the whole thing. And so today on Flightless Bird, I wanted to talk Home Alone, because I know I'm not alone in my love, or at least my knowledge of this movie. So prepare to be abandoned by your family at Christmas and defend your house to the death, because this is the Home Alone episode.
Flightless bird, touchdown in America. I'm a flightless bird, touchdown in America.
Rob, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? We're back in the studio.
We're back together. We've been on adventures.
It's been a long time since we've
It's been ages. Yeah. How did you cope with all the flights around? Because we know you don't love flying, and you did a hell of a lot of flying.
Yes, I survived 5 flights.
Oh my God.
Only one was rough.
Okay. Bumpy rough?
Bumpy rough, it was the shortest one, so I was good.
Yeah, and now we're back in a baking, beautiful Los Angeles.
I also, though, read somewhere that it's smoothest to fly in the morning.
Oh, really? That's like a thing.
So I booked all my flights for pretty early.
Oh, Rob. So what, your alarm's going off at like 5 a.m. and it's off to the airport?
No, everything was like 10 a.m. and between like 8:30 a.m. and
Yeah.
11 a.m. local time. And I think like just being able to see out the window helps too.
Yeah, because looking out into the dark, that's scarier.
Yeah.
It is, like you're up in nothingness, but like blue is so nice.
Unless you're in like the middle of dark clouds.
Oh, and then it's like the worst of all.
Yeah.
It occurred to me like we should clearly be doing the Home Alone episode at Christmas time.
Yeah.
But the fact is the documentary kind of like lined up with the person I talked to. So that's the reason we're doing it now.
Well, and because this is kind of Chicago month.
It's Chicago. It's a Chicago month. I love this.
There's a lot of Chicago themes coming up.
Chicago
This is
month.
episode 3 of Chicago.
It's really good.
Flightless Bird in Chicago.
Well, this is maybe like a bit of a tangent on this, but at our Chicago show, our main guest was an amazing director who directed a film called Some Kind of Monster. We had Joe Berlinger, and I was going on at the live show about how much I love Some Kind of Monster. And then the American Cinematheque approached us because they're doing like a series of podcasters presenting films. And so I said, can Flightless Bird please do Some Kind of Monster? So I'm a bit afraid that by the time this comes out, it'll be sold out, but it might not be. So if you're in LA, it's Saturday, August 23rd, 9:30 p.m. You can get tickets from the American Cinematheque. And we will be there, me and Rob, and we'll be presenting Some Kind of Monster. And I'm excited because you have never seen this thing.
I have not seen it. Do I need to buy tickets for this?
I got your seat.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
Rob, this is your announcement as
This
well.
one I'm okay?
You need to be buying tickets.
Okay.
But I'm excited because like you have no big interest in Metallica. I do, but I feel that you're still going to love this doc because it's just so fun.
I mean, I hope so. Based on what I've heard of this doc from multiple people, it seems like I'll enjoy it. So.
Yeah, I think it's one of those perfect documentaries where you don't need to be a fan of the topic to love what it's about. Like, it's just so human and hectic. You just can't help but like it.
And it seems like less about the music.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's also it's during the making of pretty much their worst known album. So even Metallica fans are like, oh God, like of all the docs, why this album? But that's what makes it kind of special.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, Home Alone. When I say that, what are your thoughts? Are you repulsed because your kids make you watch it all the time? Did you love it?
No, I loved Home Alone. I mean, it takes place in the suburbs of Chicago. That's where their house is. It was one of my favorite Christmas movies to watch growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, I showed Calvin them, and he loves the Home Alone movies. Like every Christmas, we're in a rotation of like all 6 Home Alone movies, just like nonstop.
So I only realized this researching this. I didn't know there were 6. I thought there were 3. And then on Wikipedia, I'm like, there's 4. And then there's 5. And then it's like, there's a 6th. And they become less and less relevant.
Yes.
But it's very funny there's that many.
The first 2 are Macaulay Culkin.
Uh-huh.
And then I think it's a fully different cast. Like Scarlett Johansson plays his sister.
Oh, that's
in
incredible.
The third one.
Okay, I need to watch it.
12 or 13 years old.
What a trip.
Just like minor side character.
No, it just turns up.
And then I don't even know if they continue the same kid for 4 and 5. French Stewart is in the 4th one. And then 6 is Rob Delaney and Ellie Kemper, which great too. Great comedy casting.
So it's kind of like there's a Home Alone universe where they're
Absolutely.
like recasting actors. There's like side plots and everything.
Well, they can't have Macaulay Culkin as the kid in the 6th one right now. Like,
no, he'd be growing up too much. He's got to be a kid, right?
I'm pretty sure Buzz makes a cameo in one of the more recent ones. As
I love that.
A cop now.
Oh, he was born to play a cop.
Yes.
Like, that's very much like his physicality, right?
Yeah.
Home Alone 1, iconic, obviously.
Yep.
How do you feel about Home Alone 2? Because that was like, I always thought it was quite cool how they like broke the format a little bit.
Yeah.
Like they got a different city. They came up with like a very funny concept of him like chasing who he thought he was his dad onto the wrong plane. And it was still, and they brought the criminals back.
Yeah, I think the second one was great. For the longest time, like that movie was what New York was in my mind to me. Like I had never been, and like New York was that movie.
Yeah.
Which I think it also did a great job of kind of encapsulating the craziness of New York.
Of what that city is.
Just the bustle of it.
Also, Donald Trump pops up because is it shot in? Is there a scene in Trump Tower, or he just turns up?
Yeah, I mean,
at some point. Yeah, I forget that he was like a pop culture character at one point, and he'd pop up and he'd be like, "Oh, it's that guy."
Yeah, he's either at the candy store or the hotel or
something like that. Yeah. Anyway,
so climate for Christmas in New Zealand is summer.
It's the height of our summer. What you do is like you go camping like by the beach. You have barbecues like on the beach, sausage sizzles, hamburgers. You go swimming. That's our vibe.
But you don't really have a winter.
So if you're in the South Island, we do have a winter, but generally like North Island, we snow on the South Island. There's a bit of snow on the North Island, but generally like summer is like, it is sunny, it is hot. There's no snow happening.
Got it.
And it is weird, like like growing up, as a New Zealander, I was hoovering in American pop culture. And Christmas, I mean, we have a Christmas tree, right? But like the idea of there being snow on a Christmas tree is completely like foreign to us.
I don't think it's unique to America that we have snow in Christmas time.
No, there are other countries
around the world.
But America's the one that's like exported it as being like, this is Christmas. Like the definition of Christmas is snow. Like America, and I don't resent America for it. I think it's great. Don't worry about Hayden. He just gets angry at everything.
Yeah.
But it's
it was like you're on an island. Like you have different climate on an island.
We do. We have our own thing. We're bottom of the world. We've got a different thing going on.
Have you had like a wintry Christmas ever?
I don't think I ever have. The closest was going to Utah in January, like years and years ago, where it was like, so just post Christmas, snowing, snow on the trees and stuff, but like not Christmas.
Well, it sounds like this year for Christmas, we gotta go find some snow.
Where would be like the most efficient place to go from LA to get me like my first white Christmas?
Lake Tahoe is pretty beautiful if there's snow.
Would there be guaranteed snow there at Christmas?
It's hard to say. Like climate change is really, because even Chicago, like you don't necessarily get snow on Christmas every year.
God, that's crazy.
You want like guaranteed snow? I got like we're going to Alaska for.
Is this when you finally get to Alaska and do that?
Christmas.
Yeah, it's a really like rough thing to kind of clock that like, no, we don't have guaranteed snow anymore. Like that's not a thing at Christmas.
But I mean, Tahoe is beautiful either way. And when they get snow, they get a ton of snow, almost to like a scary degree.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like, we might get an avalanche on our like front doorstep.
Yeah, or just get like snowed in for a week.
Yeah, right.
Wherever we are.
So wait, was Home Alone a regular, like most Christmases, would it be on?
Home Alone and Christmas Vacation were like, and A Christmas Story. Like, those were my Christmas movies.
Do you remember there was a Christmas movie I'd watch in New Zealand and it was like about a little mouse. It was like a live action.
Stuart Little?
Maybe he was in a car and he'd race around the house. Would that be Stuart Little? Car? A little red car. He was real though. He wasn't animated.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Stuart Little, and I don't know that it was a Christmas movie though.
Okay.
I mean, maybe they made a Christmas variation, or maybe
that
I'm
might
wrong.
just be like a Farrier household thing. Like we put on like little mouse movie for David.
The little white mouse, so you just associate it with Christmas.
Yeah, that's my only other like main association, I think.
Well, so if Home Alone was like one of your first associations with America, did you think America then was like Chicago and New York, or
I did?
Just the whole country.
It all felt like a lot of big tall buildings, like a lot of people, a lot of chaos. I think the idea of Los Angeles came in like much later, and I'm trying to think what show and movies would have like given me like the LA look. Probably like more crime shows that were based here. But my idea of it was like, because I feel like New York has those icons, right? You've got Statue of Liberty, you've got these huge bridges, Empire State. And I think that just is so good to like sell to the rest of the world. Like what's like the iconic LA? What, some tar pits?
Palm trees.
Palm trees, yeah, palm trees, of course.
I mean, I think the interesting thing is when you think of different countries around the world, you're not really taking into account the size of it. So it's like pretty singular what you kind of envision the city. Like I think of New Zealand, I think of just like
hit me.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like it's the same everywhere.
Yeah.
Like
and what are you seeing? Like, you're not going to offend anyone. It's
No,
fine.
I mean, it's just like a tropical island type town that's a little more urban.
Okay. Yeah,
Is
it's
my-
so
is my mind.
island-like.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
lots
a
of
lot of-
beaches.
A lot of rainbow shorts and Crocs.
Yeah,
with thick
absolutely.
rimmed glasses
Yeah,
and wacky hair.
Yeah, everyone definitely looks like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I guess America, it's that thing of like 50 countries in one. So, because the other thing I was raised with was my dad loved Westerns. So we'd watch a lot of Clint Eastwood. And so my other image of America was like vast expanses of nothingness kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
So those were the other images in my mind. And then obviously, I just think like even more recently, I watched a lot of Bosch, and like that's so like such dad TV, but that's so LA based as well.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop, iconic. But also the other thing I'd say is not living in LA, so many LA movies were lost on me. So even like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I watched that before being sort of deeply familiar with LA. Rewatching that since I've been here for 4 years, I'm like, oh my God, that's that place. It's this whole other level.
That happened to me with Arrested Development.
Where is that set?
It's in Orange County in like Newport Beach.
Which is where you spent some time.
Yeah, we lived near there for like a year.
Yeah.
And then I remember like moving there, it had been a little while, and watching it again and was like, oh, that's crazy. The banana stand. Like,
all right.
I know exactly where that was, and this and that.
That's a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really amazing. Well, maybe when you come to New Zealand, maybe that's when we all rewatch Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the other thing is I mostly just envision Lord of the Rings.
It's Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
It's like city and then Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Yeah, like Flight of the Conchords, Lord of the Rings, those are like the big like touchstones.
Yeah, that's New Zealand.
Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Quince. Now, why the heck would you drop a fortune on basics when you don't have to do that? Quince has all the good stuff. It's got high quality fabrics, classic fits, and lightweight layers for warm weather. It's getting very warm right now. All at prices that make sense. Everything I've ordered from Quince has been nothing but solid.
Yes, I got this European linen jacket that I like a lot. Even though it's getting hot here, it gets kind of chilly in the morning still, and it gets kind of chilly at night.
Yeah, nights are freezing.
So I like having some long sleeves to wear. And this is a great jacket that I throw over.
Yeah, I've got a couple of shirts from there and also a bunch of shorts. Do you call them shorts in America? Like,
yeah, they're shorts.
Yeah, shorts. Yeah. I love them. I always get worried what words mean here. Big fan of Quince. And the best part is they are half the cost of similar brands. And by working directly with top artisans and cutting out the middleman, Quince gives you luxury pieces without the markup.
And the other thing we love is that Quince works only with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices while still using premium fabrics and finishes.
Yeah, we love them for that.
Keep it classic and cool with long-lasting staples from Quince. Go to quince.com/bird for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
That's QUINCE.com/bird to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/bird. Flightless Bird is brought to you by BetterHelp. Now, Rob, I think I spend a bit more time stuck on Instagram and TikTok than you, but I am being bombarded by like a shit ton of like wellness and therapy talk on there, mostly about attachment styles. And there's this thing where like initially you're like, oh yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. This is interesting. And then after watching about 100 of them, you're like, this is just like a whole lot of horrific clutter.
You need a trusted therapist that's actually going to take time to learn what your issues are.
Yeah, the algorithm doesn't always know you as deeply as you think it is. I've found therapy really useful for a whole lot of things. I went through a period of getting like deeply anxious about doing everything instantly as soon as it came in. Even the idea of having an inbox that wasn't all ticked off was causing me anxiety. And with a therapist, I've come up with some pretty great solutions to not be panicking about what feels like a very busy life.
Well, with over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally.
And it's incredibly convenient. You can join a session with a therapist at the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your ridiculously busy life. And you can also switch therapists at any time. So if you feel things aren't a good match, you can swap to somebody else.
As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise.
So talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/bird. That's betterhelp.com/bird. Okay. While we were in Chicago, I met with a woman that had some really, I think, incredible insight into Home Alone. And I sat down with her, and this is what happened.
I confess, I'm somewhat embarrassed to admit I'm not a podcast listener generally.
That's not embarrassing. That's a good thing. Sometimes when you make a fairly niche podcast, you have to be prepared for the fact that some of the people you interview will have never listened to your silly podcast. They will have no idea who you are, and are probably wondering why they agree to be interviewed by you in the first place. Yet despite all this, they leave their house to meet some random New Zealander in the lobby of the hotel. In this case, the lobby of a hotel in Chicago.
My first name is Lauren, and I am an attorney in Chicago, Illinois.
Lauren lives and works downtown. She loves this part of town, the hustle and the bustle, but it's not where she was brought up. So tell me about the area that you grew up in. What was the vibe? What was it like there as a kid? So it was like super quiet and suburban, or what was the deal?
So I grew up in a town called Winnetka, which is quite small. You can make it sound even smaller by describing the number of streetlights that exist in Winnetka, which you can...
How many streetlights?
I think you can count on one hand.
I feel some kinship with Lauren. Back in New Zealand, I also grew up in a fairly small town, maybe 1.5 hands worth of streetlights. Same vibe.
It is quiet. It's a very quiet, safe neighborhood where you see a lot of families with younger children because of those qualities. It has a nice neighborhood feel.
And what did you do as a teenager in that town? Like, what did teenagers do? Was it like, did you go to the mall? Was it like a skate park? What was it like growing up in that town?
Most definitely, there's no skate park in Winnetka, Illinois. I'm fairly certain, actually, that skateboarding on the sidewalks even is not permitted, and you'll get in trouble if you do that. We grew up at a time when shopping malls were still a thing. So we would go to the malls in Northbrook and in Skokie and had a great time there. You could feel a sort of independence doing that. Sadly, my children will never experience that because the malls have gone the way of the dinosaur. But
do you find yourself going back ever, or is it like that was a childhood thing and it's somewhere that you typically wouldn't go back to?
You know, I don't go back. And not because I disliked it. I didn't. I had a really wonderful experience growing up. But I don't go back largely because of the house in which I grew up, and I just like to hold those memories as they were.
Now, I feel like we've been talking about the house, and as you've been talking about the house, it sounds like almost you've lived in like a haunted house or something. So just, can you tell me what the house is that you grew up in?
So I grew up in the Home Alone house. That's where I grew up. I get bizarrely sentimental. So things have changed enough that when I go back, it's different, and I'd prefer to live in the past. So I don't visit as much as one might think.
Lauren was 5 years old when she and her parents moved into a house that wasn't yet the Home Alone house. The story of how her childhood home was picked to be the Home Alone house, well, it all started with another movie.
They were set to film a movie called Uncle Buck, which you may be familiar with. I think that was Macaulay Culkin's first movie.
Uncle Buck was shot a few years before Home Alone. It starred the legendary John Candy, and yeah, Macaulay Culkin was in it too, before anyone knew who he was.
Hey, how you doing?
Who are you?
I'm your Uncle Buck.
Do I have an uncle?
Unfortunately.
Holy smokes.
The location scout for that film found the house that my parents owned at the time, which was in Evanston, and approached my parents about possibly using that house for Uncle Buck. But my parents, as I understand it, had already sold the house. But they said, well, we just bought a house in Winnetka, which is not too far. It's of a similar architectural style. So if you like this house in Evanston, you might like the house in Winnetka equally well. So everybody went over to Winnetka, checked out the new house, and said, oh, we love this house. But it's not right for Uncle Buck. It's not what we were going for.
So back in the 80s, her parents thought that was that. Their brush with Hollywood was over.
Then a little while later, same folks came back for National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. They remembered the house. They still loved it. They wanted to look at it again. And again, it wasn't quite right, or the timing wasn't quite right. My parents thought, all right, well, that's done. You know, we're 0 for 2.
You can see where this is headed.
And then they came back for Home Alone and said, okay, now we really want to use the house, and we think it's really right for this movie.
Her parents, John and Cynthia, were of two minds about all this. They were on one hand thrilled, but after being burnt twice already, were also cautious, insisting on reading the script. Home Alone had been written by John Hughes, who already had a string of hits behind him, including The Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, Weird Science, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He knew how to write a script.
I believe my dad did not love the script. Thought it was a little campy, kind of, I don't know. But my mom really saw something there and said, I think we need to do this.
With her mum's enthusiastic yes, Lauren's childhood home was about to become what the rest of us now know as the Home Alone house.
I remember them telling me that they were going to come make a movie in our house.
Lauren had just turned 6 as the film crew began shooting.
I was young enough that at that age, I didn't know how movies were made. And so it was still, when you went to a movie theater and you saw the film, I don't think it ever occurred to me that that wasn't a thing that existed in real life. I was still young enough that everything just seemed totally normal. It was I was completely unfazed by the arrival of large numbers of people who effectively camped out on our property for about 5 months.
So you sort of lived there still while this was being shot, or did you all move to a hotel or something?
We were in the house the entire time.
This sort of blew my mind. Like, while some of the film was shot on a soundstage, it's not like the house was just used for exteriors. Heaps of Home Alone was filmed inside Lauren's house. I figured her and her family would stay at a hotel the whole time. But no, they just kept living there while they shot the movie.
There was a clause in the contract that basically, if in filming they wanted to make any alterations to the property, they had to ask permission first, they being the film crew and production. But only if one of my parents was on premises. If they couldn't be found, well, of course, you can't halt filming while someone scrambles to look for them, so they could proceed. They made sure that someone was around pretty much all of the time.
While they were shooting a scene, would you kind of did you have a garage you could go into, or you'd just be in the spare room together? How did that work? Because as a 6-year-old, you're sort of running around, how did that work?
It depends on the scene. They did a lot of filming very late at night. So all the nighttime scenes you see in the movie were filmed oftentimes at 11 p.m. or later. I have memories of watching them film the scene, for example, where the storm comes in overnight and blows the power out. So the tree branch falls onto the power line and it sparks, and they do that over and over and over again to get the shot. So the pyrotechnics and the special effects, I remember that. And the scenes where the robbers are trying to get into the house, watched them film all of those. Watched them film the very, very painful looking scene where Joe Pesci's stunt double goes up the front steps and flips onto his back repeatedly. And he did it even more in real life, and it was terrifying to watch. He was okay. I mean, bless him. But yeah. But otherwise, we hung out upstairs. So I would be upstairs. You kind of do an army crawl to get from one room to the other because you had to stay below the window line. That was very, very important. You could not stand up because then you would be potentially in a shot and ruin the shot.
I just think it's wild that as a kid you were living in the house as they're shooting Home Alone in the Home Alone house, which is your house.
It's funny just to look back on it because I don't think I fully appreciated until I was quite grown, an adult, how special and how unique it was. Because at the time, it was just so normalized. Everything seemed, oh, okay, sure. People are here for 5 months. They'll make a movie and then they'll go and you get to know people.
Well, when you're a kid, everything that's happening is new and you assume it's normal. Like everything is normal when you're a kid. And so that would just be a normal thing.
Exactly.
I tried to imagine what life would be like. You're 6 and a Hollywood film crew is suddenly everywhere in your house. And the star of the film is there too. Of course, to you and me now, he's Macaulay Culkin. But to Lauren back then, he was just a kid like her.
So I did meet him, but he was, if not filming, by law, he had to complete a certain number of hours of study each day with his tutor. So he would actually use my room as a study area. I think it was a little quieter and more out of the way than his trailer. He, of course, had a trailer, all of the cast members did, but he would often use my room because quiet, out of the way, and I don't think many people went up looking for him there. Then I had to be careful too. My parents said, don't bother him. Understandably, it's your room, but also, let's share. Okay.
Macaulay was a few years older than Lauren and busy, and so the two of them didn't spend a lot of time together. Rather, Lauren spent more time playing with his little brother, who was her exact age.
But his younger brother, Kieran, who is now an extremely successful actor in his own right and was also in the film, he played Fuller. Kieran had more time on his hands because he wasn't in as many scenes. And so we played together a bit, just the sweetest boy, really, really nice.
I never realized before now that Kieran was also in Home Alone. He played Kevin's little brother, Fuller. You can see him at the chaotic table, bespeckled, a few scenes before Kevin's abandoned.
Fuller, go easy on the Pepsi.
Really, everyone in the cast was nice. In particular, Daniel Stern, who played Marv, would go out of his way to talk to the kids in the neighborhood about the filming and all of the tricks and the special effects and everything. He would kind of help us go behind the scenes a little bit.
Whenever I watch the film again, I'm going to just imagine you as a little kid crawling around, commando crawling between rooms upstairs so you don't get in shot in exteriors.
I'm behind the door at one point, too. There's a scene when Kevin is running home from the church late at night to enact his battle plan and set up all the booby traps for the robbers. And our front door at the time would get kind of stuck. It didn't open easily. And so they had a crew member behind the door to help Macaulay open it so he wasn't, struggling with the door to get in the middle of the scene. This crew member was actually a neighbor from down the street who would babysit me from time to time. She said, "Hey, Lauren, you want to help me open the door?" Sure. So I'm standing behind the door. I don't know how much I really helped, but it was fun. So I'm behind the door in that scene. You can't see us, but we're there helping Macaulay get through.
Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Thrive Market. Now, you know what's even more stressful than a packed out calendar? Realizing you're out of coffee right before you need that cup of coffee. And that's why I've stocked up on coffee and a bunch of other stuff using Thrive Market's back to school sale.
Even if you're not going back to school, this is the perfect time to reset. Your body is just kind of naturally in that rhythm of school's about to start again. And Thrive makes it easy to shop for high quality pantry staples, snacks, vitamins, and even skincare without the errands or the ingredient label deep dives.
I just restocked a bunch of protein bars because I'm on a protein bar buzz at the moment. I also had a bunch of shampoos and conditioners on there. They are all good for the planet. So I thought, why not try some of those as well? And they're filtered authors make shopping by diet or lifestyle a total breeze, and their healthy swaps tool helps you upgrade your usual buys with zero label stress.
And everything gets delivered super fast, and you can save up to 25% on these items.
Which is pretty great. So, now's the best time to try Thrive Market. You'll get up to 25% off select items, and new members get 30% off their first order plus a free gift. We love gifts.
Go to thrivemarket.com/bird to start saving. The sale ends August 31st. Don't miss it.
Support for Flightless Bird comes from Shopify. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably spend a wee bit of time shopping online. It's something that America is very good at doing. And you may have noticed that purple Shop Pay button and how easy it makes buying something. Well, that, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, is Shopify.
I love that Shop Pay button because it's got all your information already filled out. So it's got your shipping address, got your credit card already, and it just makes it super easy to get through that whole process.
Yeah, I just hate that process of like, you need to buy something. So, what's your card? You run to get your wallet. You're typing your address and apartment number. It's like, I'm so sick of this. Shopify just has it all there stored very, very, very handy.
Yeah, Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names to brands that are just getting started. They help give those businesses the leg up from day one with hundreds of beautiful, ready-to-go templates to express their brand style and forget about the code.
So yeah, if you're wanting to sell stuff online, you can tackle all those important tasks in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and even more. And you can spread your brand's word with built-in marketing and email tools to find and keep new customers. You need customers. That's how it all works.
If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify.
Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/bird. Go to shopify.com/bird.
Shopify.com/bird.
Hearing Lauren talk about this got me thinking about how surreal it must have been when the film came out, which is exactly what happened on November 16th, 1990. She couldn't make it to the premiere, too young, but she saw it with her family when it opened at the movies.
Where are you going? We're gonna miss the plane!
When the McAllister family left on their Christmas vacation,
Did we miss the plane?
No, you just made it.
Yeah!
they forgot one small thing.
Have yourself
a terrible feeling. Did you lock up?
let yourself be light.
Do we set the timers on the lights?
Mm-hmm. What else could we be forgetting?
Our troubles will be ours.
Kevin!
Home Alone.
And it was wild. It was the craziest experience because I don't really think I had given much thought to what the end product would be. I knew, at a very basic level, okay, they're making a movie and they're making it in our house. And so our house will appear in a film.
Yeah, but suddenly you've got a plot and characters and things you care about, right? That you had no idea about before.
Exactly. And so when they made Home Alone, and I witnessed the making of a movie from behind the scenes, I think that was actually eye-opening in the sense that then I understood, oh, okay. So, Kevin McAllister is a character, and there's a real human being with a very different name who has a different life who portrays this character in the movie.
Lauren's words earlier came back to me about how the whole reason they stayed living in the house was so her parents could be nearby if the crew needed to change something, knock out a wall or remove some stairs or something.
They made sure that someone was around pretty much all of the time.
Well, watching the film, her family decided it was a very good idea that stuck around.
With one exception, there was a time when I think we went out to lunch, and then fast forward to the film's release, and my parents were at the premiere, and they're watching the movie for the first time. And there's a scene where Kevin goes out into the backyard and cuts himself a Christmas tree from one of the trees in the back. And my parents thought to themselves, wow, special effects did a really nice job with that tree. It looks really realistic. And then they went home, and the next morning they looked in the backyard and saw, hey, there's half a tree there. So there's just the half a tree, they cut our tree. So putting things together, that must have been the one time when we weren't at home. And it's fine, it's all in good fun.
The movie was now out, and it was a huge hit. Here are some stats I found online. It was the #1 film at the box office for 12 straight weeks. At the time, it was the highest grossing live-action comedy in the world ever, until it was overtaken 2 decades later by The Hangover Part 2. In America specifically, it was the highest grossing live-action comedy ever, right until Barbie came out a few years ago. If you look at what it made over its whole run in theaters, it was the 3rd highest grossing film worldwide of all time, beaten only by Star Wars and E.T. With all that in mind, I think of Lauren's dad reading the script.
I believe my dad did not love the script. Thought it was a little campy,
You know what else I think of? That movie could have come out and failed miserably, and they never would have thought about it again. But it just happened to become one of the biggest movies in the world. And Lauren's childhood home, this home that was this private thing that no one really cared about, well, suddenly it was everybody's home.
Very quickly after the movie was released, people started coming by. That's when the traffic started, and it never stopped.
So I was thinking about this a lot because, the house is this one thing you have that's kind of private and it's yours and no one really cares. But suddenly the world knows about your house.
Yes. And my parents had a condition in the contract that our real address not be used in the movie. So they didn't use the real address. They just changed the street names slightly.
What do you reckon the delay was between film coming out in cinemas and the streets starting to get a little bit busier? Are we talking a week, a month, half a year?
The film came out, I think, at Thanksgiving, and by Christmas, so just a few weeks later, it was traffic lined up down the block. You couldn't see the end of the line, and it didn't stop. All night, cars are going by. And my cousins and aunts and uncles thought this was hilarious. So we all stood in a window. We each picked a different window and waved. And it must have creeped, I don't know how many people out, that they were driving past this house. And my dad's side of the family is relatively large. So we filled the windows.
Do you think your parents expected the movie to be this hit and for this to happen? Do you think they ever expected that?
I don't think anyone expected it. There were some annoyances. There were some odd times. You would come home and find strangers in the backyard. We did not have, a fence that locked or anything. So we would come home and pull the car into the garage and see people we'd never met before wandering around the backyard looking for Kevin's treehouse. Halloween was actually quite a terrible holiday for us because you'd have lovely trick-or-treaters coming by. Everyone wanted to trick-or-treat at the Home Alone house. It was very busy. We always ran out of candy. But then teenagers, what do you do when you're bored on Halloween night? You want to prank houses, and which house is the first to come to mind? The Home Alone house. One year, someone put a full cake in our screen door, smashed it into the door. Another year, they threw eggs through our windows, shaving cream just all over the place. But that was, I would say, the anomaly. The vast, vast majority of the fans who came by were very respectful. We met a lot of really fantastic people. People from France and Japan and the UK, from New Zealand, from Australia.
It's surreal when it's just your house overnight becomes a house that everyone knows. It's just a funny thing, and it doesn't happen with that many, like Breaking Bad houses, certain houses, but generally they stay anonymous,
I think what made this house so iconic is that the house, in a way, kind of became its own character in the film, because so much of the plot surrounds the house and what takes place in it, that it's not merely just a locale or a location where, events take place, that it kind of became a larger part of the film.
The whole thing still amazes Lauren. She was 5 when her family moved into the house, and she lived there till she was 18 and left for college. She'd come back for summer breaks, where those fond memories just solidified, and visitors kept driving by the whole time, because somehow the movie had done that thing that all films dream to do. It had connected with people.
I think it was more heartfelt on screen than they had anticipated. Because if you just read the script, it's a lot of slapstick comedy and that comes through on the page. But when you really see it on the screen, all of the family values and that kind of messaging really comes through. And tribute to the actors, too, because you could let it sort of devolve into just pure comedy, but they didn't. There's enough of really, heartwarming moments in there.
There was a sequel to all this, literally. 20th Century Fox came back to her house to shoot Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. You know, the one with Donald Trump in it. It was a shorter shoot this time, not 5 months, just 2 or 3 weeks, a few quick scenes. And when did you move out of the house? When did your family decide to leave?
My parents sold the house in 2012. I was in law school at the time, and so I came back to say goodbye. It was in February of 2012. And in a way, I'm glad I wasn't there for the end of that era, because it was hard to say goodbye to it. And it's part of the reason why I don't really go back. I really loved growing up in the house. It was special. I have a lot of memories there, and I like to cherish the memories as they are.
Do you think it was a hard decision for them, or it was like the right time to move on? Not that you can speak on their behalf, but...
As I understand it, it was a hard decision, in that they too really loved that house. And because of Home Alone and everything that was attached to it, I think it's hard to say goodbye to that, because it all became sort of a piece. Everything blended together. And so it wasn't just leaving a house where you'd lived for X number of years. It was leaving behind all of the memories from the filming and everything. I expect that they stayed longer for that reason than they otherwise would have.
And while she doesn't visit the house anymore, it lives on. It lives on whenever she watches the movie with her own kid, who probably thinks his mum is a little bit crazy. When was the last time you watched Home Alone, would you say?
Oh, just a few months ago. My 6-year-old, it's his favorite movie. So
You were cursed.
On pretty much constantly in our house, which is not by my choice. There's a Home Alone Lego set, and we built it, and my son recognized that this is the house from the movie. And then we told him that's the house that Mommy grew up in. What? And then he's looking for me in the movie, not seeing me. So we explained about how movies are made. So I think he gets it now. But my sister lives in Virginia, and I took him just for a weekend. And while we were there, he wanted to go to the Lego store. And in the store, they had the Lego set, and another family was looking at it and wondering aloud, oh, I wonder if they have the booby traps in the Lego set. And my son said, yeah, they're in there. That's my mommy's house. And they looked at me like, what? And I told them I grew up in the house, and they didn't know what to do with themselves.
I wonder how many people over the years have thought Lauren is a little crazy. For the record, I did a bit of digging on her before we met up to make sure I had things right. And yeah, she definitely grew up in the Home Alone house. And it's a house that somehow managed to keep on giving, branching out into so many aspects of her life.
But it happens to be my husband's favorite movie, so he just puts it on.
Is that why he married you?
I hope not. That's probably among the reasons. Well, what's funny is on our first date, he was telling me about how when he was, I think, 13, he almost met Michael Jordan. This is one of his favorite stories. And I said, well, I didn't meet Michael Jordan. I did meet Michael Jackson once, though. And he said, what? Explain? So I explained Michael Jackson came to my house. And again, I get the, what? Explain further. So then I explained Michael Jackson came to my house because Michael Jackson was friends with Macaulay Culkin and came to visit Macaulay Culkin when they were filming Home Alone. Home Alone was filmed in the house I grew up in. And then we talked about that for about an hour because that was big news.
That was for the sequel, by the way, and she had absolutely no idea who Michael Jackson was. She didn't care about that stuff back then. She just knew she loved her parents and she loved that house. A house that we all get to love now, too.
My parents, it was always important to them to have houses with a lot of light in them. So you can see in the movie, the Home Alone house has a lot of windows. And that was intentional on my parents' part. That's one of the things that attracted them to the house. And I also appreciated that. And to this day, I don't want to live anywhere that's dark and dreary. I love the natural light coming in. And so I was very fortunate in that my room in the house where I grew up, it had a lot of windows. One of the rooms was windows on 3 sides, and I think I will forever miss that. That was my favorite room.
Okay, now, Rob, full disclosure, I was intending to go and visit the Home Alone house while I was in Chicago. Just ran out of time. I didn't go, but I knew that was okay because you have been.
I've been multiple times.
Okay, just fill me in on the context of this.
I used to work not too far from there. And yeah, it was the lore of the Home Alone house. So I'd sometimes just go have lunch and like sit in my car on that street and eat lunch.
Wait, so what were you doing for a job at this time? Like what kind of work?
It was when I was creative director for an e-commerce company.
You're right.
Out there.
And so you were in Winnecta? What was it called?
No, I was in Northbrook and Skokie.
Okay. And Skokie is close, like it's adjacent.
It was like 15 minutes to get over there.
Okay, all right.
And like it was magical to be in it was mostly winter I would go.
What a trip.
I do remember I was seeing a girl at one point that was from out of town. And when she came to visit, we like had a date where we went to the Home Alone house.
Oh, Rob, this is amazing.
She was
You've
the
been
biggest
sitting
fan.
on this?
Yeah.
So wait, on the date, you drive up to the house. Like, did you just take me through the date? I want to know how this worked.
We got food and we brought it over.
Did you have like a little kiss on the front doorstep of the Home Alone house or anything? Or did you do like a drive-by?
We did sit on it and took a picture.
Oh, this is amazing.
But people live in it. So
yeah,
it was
completely.
like
Well,
very like, okay, we can't just like sit on the property. Like we're not wandering into the backyard. Like
it might have been it might have been like Lauren's parents.
It could have
like
been,
it would have been them. They might have seen you hashing this
years
girl.
Ago.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
The other annoying thing is, a long time ago, someone emailed Flightless Bird and said, our parents are the current owners and they're selling the house.
And they wanted to know if we wanted to buy it.
Well, they wanted to know if we wanted to like go and visit. And at the time I emailed back and I was like definitely interested. I actually pitched us staying at the Home Alone house.
Yeah.
But then the parents, I think, basically were like, we do not want some random podcasters like staying in our house.
Some random guy that made a tickled documentary.
Yeah, and I was like, this house is huge. Like, let us into one of the rooms. But then I went to look for the email and I can't freaking find it. So I don't know what happened to it.
So maybe it was just in delirium you made this up?
It may have been a dream entirely. I don't know.
There is a popular band right now called the Winnetka Bowling League. Matthew Coma is the singer, who's married to Hillary Duff.
Okay.
But apparently I don't think it's related to Winnetka.
It must be. Like, does that word mean anything else?
There's another Winnetka because I think they're LA based.
What kind of music? Like what genre?
Indie pop.
Indie pop.
I do need to correct you. Fuller.
Yeah, Fuller, the
Fuller
brother.
is his cousin, not his brother.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for that. Important.
Listening to it and like hearing everything described again, I did realize how much I also related to Kevin McAllister as a kid. I think that is why I liked the movie so much, because he was just kind of this black sheep of the family that everyone kind of gave shit to and picked on a bit. The early scenes of that movie where like they're ordering the pizza and like he wants his own and then they eat all of it and then he gets mad and spills the Pepsi all like that very much felt like how I felt as a kid.
That's so interesting, and that's probably part of why a film like this works, because like anyone watching can like pick a person and be like, I relate to that character.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about that, but that's definitely a thing. I think I was the cousin. I was that little bespectacled cousin.
Yeah, probably.
That was absolutely me. Whereas, yeah, so you were always like, there was an element of you clashing with your family a little bit, or just being into different activities than what everyone else was doing.
Yes. And then me being like a little over dramatic about it. And like the idea of them leaving for the holiday, like
heaven.
Sounded amazing.
Yeah.
But then also by like the end of it, like he is actually soft and
yeah, you miss them.
Yes.
Yeah, this is so interesting.
But I related quite a bit to Kevin.
No, I love that. And I think, I I like to think that people listening to that will be like triggered by like different memories of this place. I mean, I think a very obvious thing that I didn't put to her was like, because she just lived there with her parents, and maybe that's an inappropriate question, but that house was huge. Like, obviously they would have had some money and could afford it, but it's also that thing of like, that's just a crazy big house to live in. And also the more I think about it, because I rewatched Home Alone after I spoke to her, it's like you could have a film crew like taking over an entire end of that house and you could still be fine with your family living there at like the other end. It wasn't like a squashed in space.
That part was wild, that they were still living in the house as they were filming, just like
just incredible.
Army crawling by windows.
No, like wild. And like, just the parents had to be there contractually so that if the crew wanted to change anything, they had to be like at hand.
Yeah.
I've sort of maybe went a bit like dramatic in what the film crew could have done.
Cut a tree down, maybe?
Maybe a little tree. Also, something she said that I found kind of amazing. They had a tree house built for the movie in the backyard, like a really amazing tree house. That wasn't their original one. And when the film got famous, her dad basically took it down because people were like wandering into their backyard. And of course, they want to go up into the treehouse.
Yeah, they wanted like the zip line from the attic.
Yeah, no. And it was like an insane treehouse, apparently.
Yeah.
And basically, her dad took it down because we're in America and he didn't want to be liable for like some kids crawling up there, falling, going splat, and having to deal with that stuff. So they took the treehouse down. And that's why they also had people in the backyard being like, where's the treehouse?
Yeah.
Like, this is from the movie. Like, where is it?
I mean, yeah, that's what I want. The treehouse, and I want the neighbor.
Oh my God. Yeah,
the neighbor with the shovel.
Oh, that beautiful neighbor. Also, big fan of Home Alone 2 with Pigeon Woman.
Mm-hmm.
That was
such... I was gonna say, I almost brought her up when we were talking about...
Yeah, like just so much heart, right? Because like it was so skillfully made this person to be like scary, and she just ended up being this like soft person that cared for birds.
They did it in both. Like the neighbor was that too. He was the scary guy shoveling, and then they meet at the church, and he's like... He's who ends up saving
I literally just got goosebumps.
Spoiler alert.
Thinking about that.
Yeah.
But that's smart, like script writing. We've got those reveals. And I think if I could be anyone, I think I'm Pigeon Woman, actually.
You're Pigeon Woman?
I'm Pigeon Woman.
Not the old man next door with the shovel?
Not the old man with the shovel. I'm definitely Pigeon Woman.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Another thing that I was curious about, she talked about how kids would prank their house, right?
Yeah.
And in all your years of being an American, like child, adult, whatever, have you ever done the prank thing? And what did you do? Just like take me through like just a little example of like what that looked like.
I mean, when you were a kid, you were doing ding dong ditching. Do you know what a ding dong ditch is?
What the fuck is that? You can't just say we went ding dong ditching. What? What is that?
It's where you ring the doorbell and then you run away.
Okay, ding dong, and then you
pretty
ditch.
harmless. Pretty harmless.
Fuck, that's funny.
All boys go through a little pyro phase where you light like some pizza boxes on fire in the street.
Okay.
Shoot off some
so
fireworks.
Outside the house that didn't have candy or whatever?
No. These neither one of these were Halloween related.
Oh, so this is just you being like a little shithead.
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at Halloween, you never did the trick bit?
No, not really. I'd like never TP'd a house.
Okay.
You know about
toilet
TPing
papering?
houses? Yeah.
I've seen it in American movies only.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone actually do it.
I've heard of like people with spoon yards. You like
spoon yards?
Or you get all the like plastic forks and spoons and you just stick them in the yard, and then they're like when you have to clean them up, they all like break.
Oh, they break into the ground.
Not great.
That's amazing. I didn't know that was a thing.
There were always kind of like a few feature houses in the neighborhood that kind of got that. It was like the bigger houses were more targeted, or like a teacher or principal lived in the neighborhood.
Of course. So people in positions of power, or like big, powerful, like silly houses.
So our house, I think, maybe got TP'd once.
Your house got toilet papered. Any idea why? Is there any motivation?
No, not that I recall.
Miles. It wasn't you doing it to your own house? You weren't angry?
Nope.
Okay. So toilet papering, putting the forks and spoons in the ground, ding dong.
Egging was a thing. Ding dong ditch.
Ding dong ditching, lighting pizza boxes on fire in the street. And what else?
Egging was, kids would do that.
Just
and then
throwing eggs at the houses?
Yeah.
You've done that? You can say your mum and dad aren't here. It's okay.
Maybe once.
You eggs. Whose house did you egg?
It was a neighbor's house.
Right. Did they deserve it?
Or it was a neighbor's car, and yes, he deserved it.
What did he?
He it was a teenager that pulled a knife on us.
Oh my God.
And he would ride his little go-kart around the neighborhood.
Oh my, right. What sort of knife did he pull? Like a little.
We were playing Ghosts in the Graveyard in the backyard.
So what's Ghosts in the Graveyard?
It's kind of like Capture the Flag.
Okay.
Where someone's it, and everyone's kind of running around the neighborhood in the backyards, all the kids.
And some little badass pulled a knife.
He was older, and we were running through his yard, and he pulled a knife.
Holy shit. Now I'm kind of scared of you egging the car, because I'm like, don't provoke him. This is scary.
Yeah.
Little badass.
Yeah.
And surely he would have known it was you, maybe, because you'd been involved.
It was 8 of us. When you're playing those games, it's most of the it's a bunch of the kids from the neighborhood are coming together to do it.
And how many eggs did you throw at the car?
3.
Wow. I've really learned a lot about you just now. That's incredible. Okay, any other Home Alone takeaways?
No, that was...
We've all reminisced. We've gone down that nostalgic journey.
We got to get a game of Ghosts in the Graveyard going.
Sounds great. I mean, just any sort of when it gets dark, I'll pop over and...
We'll run through backyards. I think you need a pretty suburban area to do that.
Okay. If pranks start happening in your house, you know who's doing it as well. Suddenly egged. There's burning pizza boxes. There's forks in your front lawn.
Yeah.
Okay. Feedback. As always, a lot of thoughts on pizza. People were generally pretty happy with your selections, I have to say.
Yes, I didn't see a ton of people mad that we missed specific places, which I'm happy about.
Cole wrote in, and I'm afraid there's words in here I'm not going to be able to say, but he said there's a wonderful feud that we should look into that I'm pretty sure you mentioned. Okay, so wait, Cole says there's a Shakespearean pizza feud between 2 of the restaurants you went to. Rudy Mainardi Sr. was a manager and apparently a huge contributor to the original Chicago pie recipe at Pizzeria Uno. Mm-hmm. And their later sequel restaurant, Pizzeria Dieu. His son, Louis Malnati, and Rudy Jr., Pizzanos, trained under him at these restaurants. Both of these brothers started competing pizza restaurants. Lou Malnati's became a much more...
That was the main one. That was one of the main ones we went to.
That's Lou Malnati's. Okay.
Yeah.
Became much more popular, eventually getting franchised out and becoming very corporate. Rudy's restaurant, Pizzanos, claims to have stuck to Dad's original recipe and being much more authentic. Pizzanos got a big bump in the 90s after being mentioned on The Oprah Show, but have since failed to create the kind of empire that Lou's achieved. Lou died pretty young of cancer in the late 70s, and his son Mark took over the business at that point. But I can tell you that while publicly these restaurants remain cordial, the family relationships seem quite contemptuous from what I was able to gather. I was made to believe that Rudy Sr.'s wife sided largely with Rudy Jr. and Pizzanos and had excommunicated, I'm going to say allegedly in case we get sued, and had allegedly excommunicated Lou and Mark after the rise of Lou Malnati's. I always see Lou spelt that way, Lou Malnati's. I didn't realize that's where that name came from, Lou Malnati's.
The other crazy thing is every time you say that, I'm hearing Illuminati's.
Oh my God.
The Illuminati and Illuminati's, allegedly not the same thing.
Employees are made to sign non-compete clauses. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to work in another pizza restaurant 10 years later. I think your waitress touched on this at Pisano's in your doc. And to be totally honest, even all these years later, I'm not sure what I'm even allowed to be telling you that the families hate one another. So maybe only mention my first name if you touch on the subject. Cole, well, I'm only use your first name. You could be anyone, Cole. You're safe.
It sounds like we found your next doc.
It kind of does. I mean, he ends by saying,
wars in Chicago.
I just wanted you to know that several of these pizza empires are deeply connected in a classic Italian-American style family drama worthy of an HBO show. So yeah, I think I'll be heading back to Chicago.
I'll join you for this one,
Yeah,
David.
it's amazing, right?
It's right up my alley.
Like,
Let's do it.
Friggin' incredible. No, Cole, that's a dream email to get. Like, I love that. David wrote in, I listened to the Chicago Deep Dish app. Timing was perfect because my partner and I are planning a trip to Chicago next week. And so thanks for the recommendations. I currently live in Detroit, Michigan, and we have our own style of pizza that's also a deep dish style pizza. It's very different from Chicago style. Think of it like a thick, puffy, airy, focaccia style bread with pizza toppings.
I love Detroit style pizza. I eat a lot of Detroit style pizza in LA. There's a bunch of good Detroit style pizza here.
If you got a good Detroit one, like, would you ever go for that over a Chicago deep dish, or is like different?
They're different. Chicago deep dish has more sauce.
Okay.
Thinner
so it's
crust.
It's sort of wetter.
Which I like a lot of sauce. So I think, but out here, it's easier to get better Detroit style pizza. So like, there's like Dough Daddies, Apollonia's. There's a lot of...
So LA does it well.
Good. Yeah.
Cool.
Detroit style. I think Town had like a really good Detroit style.
Okay.
The other thing, we've mentioned this before, but New Haven style pizza is incredibly good too. That's one of my favorite types of pizza.
And just refresh me on what makes that pop.
I think it's like kind of tavern style pizza.
Okay.
It's like kind of New York, but not... I don't know. I just know I like it a lot when I have it.
Cool. All right.
There's not a ton of places that do it. Ozzy's out here is awesome and makes really good New Haven style.
But it's not deep. It's like back to being a flat
thin
pizza.
Crust.
Thin crust. Cool.
Yeah. I did see some of this feedback too.
Yeah.
Thin crust tavern style in Chicago is also delicious.
Oh my God. We've got so much more pizza to eat.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting normally is like... I think my favorite thin crust in Chicago is Rosati's. It's like just greasy.
I also love how they're all quite different and people are deeply passionate about their pizza. I mean, in fact, like as far as like pizza is one of my favorite foods, like it's not a crazy concept to just keep eating them.
Yeah.
Like I'll happily do that.
Yeah. So when we were talking about pizza, it's like, it's all great. We're not
no
like
bad.
Detroit over Chicago over
Totally.
New York. It's just all delicious pizza, dough, cheese, and sauce, and no pineapples.
God, speaking of. Melody said, I'm not sure if this is new information, but Hawaiian pizza was invented in Ontario, Canada in 1962.
Not Hawaii?
Not Hawaii. And just going back to David, he also said if you're in Michigan, you've got to try Coney dogs, Fago, which I bought some Fago with you. We found a store that had it in Los Angeles.
Yep.
Pasties, Pasky, Pazci, don't know what that is. Mackinac Island fudge, Superman ice cream, and another word I can't pronounce. So there's lots to eat.
Just some Michigan recommendations.
Oh my God. Quinn said, I don't know why I found this feedback funny. It's just, I find Hooters funny. I finished the deep dish app. I noticed when you were all discussing Hooters, Rob said that the logo was not breasts, but an owl. And Quinn's come in. I believe that the eyes of this owl were always intended to resemble breasts. So it's a little bit of both.
Fair.
Yeah, accurate.
Speaking of which, if we're going to do a Hooters episode, if anyone out there has some access to Hooters...
Sorry?
The franchise.
Yeah, email. Flightlessbirdchat at gmail.com.
Especially in the LA area.
That'd be good. Apparently there's one, I think, at Long Beach. I think that's the one place that has it.
Oh, they're like all gone now?
Yeah, there's very few.
Wow.
Long Beach is where I think like the main one remains. So if you, very specifically, if you can get us, or you've worked there.
Yeah, can you get us a reservation at the Long Beach Hooters?
No, just if you maybe worked there or you've got some like amazing story about Hooters, flightlessbirdchat at gmail.com, which is where we get all our feedback as well. And just really quickly, a few people wrote in about the lightning bugs that both of us are so delighted about.
Mm-hmm.
A few emails saying like, just so you know, like they're going extinct. But I Googled it and there's very conflicting information. So one article from June of this year said the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List of Threatened Species, quite a mouthful, reported several North American firefly species could be at risk of extinction, although data remains challenging.
We saw a ton we saw hundreds in the city.
We saw a shit ton, which brings us to the next headline, which was literally a month later, saying lightning bugs are back. Chicago fireflies more abundant this summer after a few dark years. So apparently they're doing okay.
Great.
Which is a happy news story.
Great.
But yeah, if you see one, don't kill it. Just be friendly. Who's killing those? No one's killing them. They need our help. Delightful bug. Anything else? I feel that's everything.
Yeah.
Home Alone.
We did it.
We did it.
We did it.
We did it.
I don't think we missed anything. Possibly missed anything.
No,
about
we
Home
didn't. We
Alone.
definitely didn't. There's
No.
nothing at all.
No, I mean, so maybe we'll skip
Yeah.
feedback next week because
There'll be none.
we did it.
Clearly, there's nothing. Yeah, we covered it all.
Yeah.
I am curious. The more I think about like living in a famous house, if you have lived in or are adjacent to like the Breaking Bad house, or like the Vin Diesel's house in friggin' what's
What?
that movie?
Fast and
Furious.
He had a
That's a
specific
house. That's a house in LA that one of the final films blew up, but in real life still there. So I don't know if you're in like a famous house. Email flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com.
We've got the Black Dahlia house,
Black Dahlia house. If you live there,
Danzig's house.
iconic Danzig's house. If
Which is, like,
if Glenn
scary.
Danzig, if you're listening to this, that house.
It's terrible. I don't know if they've done it on purpose.
So just describe it for people that don't know like what you're talking about.
It's just
here.
like decrepit and like the shades are frayed in like a real creepy way in the windows and like the way the weeds and plants
and this is in a
sort of take
really
over.
like a really beautiful street, like very lived in families.
Like somehow that house is in black and white and the rest of the street is in color.
It's surreal.
Yeah.
And like if you're into the Misfits or you know Glenn Danzig, if you don't know him, like Google him. He's like a very like intense looking guy.
Yeah.
And this house, the porch light is always on. No one lives there.
Is it a landmark? They're not allowed to sell it?
It feels like it might be. The other detail that I like is that there's a big pile of bricks out on the front doorstep. And the rumor is, and I don't know if this is true or not, but like back in the day, like Danzig was known as like this like scary guy, and kids would get bricks and like throw them at the house.
Jeez.
And there's literally a pile of bricks outside. So I don't know if he's bought into the mythology of himself.
Yeah.
Or if it's genuinely like a terrifying thing. I found some images on Reddit a while ago. Someone had gone inside. This is years ago when there was still stuff in there, but it was like pretty decrepit. I think now it's completely empty. As always, flightlessbirdchat@gmail.com. We will see you next week.
See you next week.